So they have introduced this concept of Maya, that life is an illusion. What illusion? Know thyself. What know thyself? So every either religion or philosophy or right from olden days, they have come up with this topic that two things. Okay, you are living in Maya or you are living in an illusion, or you are somebody who need to know thyself. Or more recently, there was a movie called Matrix. Have you all watched the movie Matrix? In the movie Matrix, it is trying to tell you that you are locked in something called the prison of the mind, that you cannot see the reality. And because you cannot see the reality, you operate on a very, very limited level. Now, in the Baha'i faith, they call these veils. These are different veils which are preventing you from seeing the reality. And instead of using the word ignorance, they use the word oblivious. You know, you can see, but you cannot apply in your life. It is there, but you are not able to realize. So human beings are oblivious. We know so many things, but we don't know so many things. Okay? And this is because the system of a human being is a very complex system. And a system which will hinder you, limit you, prevent you from achieving so many things. But if you break from these veils and limits, you can achieve phenomenal things. So Science of Life is trying to help you to understand that every human being is locked into 6 veils, which prevents a person from achieving their full human ability, full potential naturally. If these veils were not there, then human beings would achieve their potential naturally. Okay. And what are the 6 veils? When we were born, when we are born with a system put into us for us to be able to think and decide. Go here or go there, do this or do that, eat or don't eat. A system. We don't know how to think. We do not know how to reason. But there is a system which helps us to decide everything, to think, to choose. So this system is in the animal. A system which is placed into an animal, and this system helps the animal to decide what is right, what is wrong, or what is good, what is bad, what to do, what not to do, go or this way. So this system. In simple language, this system is called your pain-pleasure instinct for a human being, or survival instinct, or animal instinct, which is deciding everything. Now, in the animal instinct, the principles of the animal instinct is this. Anything that gives you pain, move away from. Anything that gives you pleasure, move towards. So the brain is a processor of information based on the principle that anything that gives you pain, move away. Anything that gives you pleasure, go towards. So when we taste something, nice. Now, we will register this in our brain as something which is good, and when we need it in the future or whatever it is, we know how to be able to relate with it. So, all the things in life, we need to know how to interact with it. If we go and see something down here and we do not know what it is, we are going to sit down and find out, is this right, wrong? Because we are trying to determine, we are trying to know what it is. As we are trying to find out what it is, and then we see it's nothing, we are trying to determine, is this something which is good for us, not good for us? Is it dangerous, not dangerous? If we interact with it, are we going to suffer, not going to suffer? So the brain needs to do 2 things. One is it needs to try to understand what it is and how it is related in our life. So the first brain operates on 2 principles. One is a picture of what this is and a feeling to be able to know how to relate with that item. Should I, next time if I'm hungry, should I eat or shouldn't I eat? Is this good, not good? So the brain operates on 2 functions. One function is a picture, okay, I know what it is. And the second is how to relate to these feelings. Okay, but the problem with this system, this is a system which determines everything. But the problem with this system is our instruments, our eyes, our ears, our five senses, okay, cannot give us complete information. It can only give us information which is here. Now when we taste this, it can tell us how it will affect us now. It cannot tell us how it will affect us in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years from now. So this system is a system which is good for now. It is not good for full life. But it helps us. So the animal, because the animal is an animal which is fast in running, fast in seeing, the senses of the animals are very good. So the animals can make changes and try to find ways of how to solve problem almost immediately, because they have the ability. Any trouble comes, they can change course very fast. But humans are slow. For humans to change course, we need a different life. For birds, when the winter comes, okay, they can fly to a different country. Human beings cannot fly to a different country. We're going to be stuck in that winter. Okay. So because the senses of the birds are very good, the senses of the animals are very good, they are able to survive effectively in this environment. They are able to survive very effectively in the world. This so-called world for an animal is very easy. So an animal lives a great life. Other than whenever there is a situation or an animal trying to change, they will try to run. But some of them get caught, some of them escape. So this is system of the brain, which is the instinct brain, with solid physical and ability to collect information and the brain processing. It's a very good system, but it's a limited system. It doesn't tell you about the future. Now we go to a school and the teacher is a horrible teacher and very bad teacher, and we're going to think education is not important, because the picture which we get and the feeling which we relate okay, is not necessarily the right. So the instruments which we have to be able to determine right, wrong, good, bad is okay for some aspects, not okay for all aspects. Okay, and some of our instruments cannot understand certain things. So as a child is growing up, it uses this to be able to decide whatever it needs to decide. And as it grows up, the parents tell them, you must pray, you must be good. The child doesn't understand this. So the parents now is putting into them certain instructions. Oh, you are a girl, you are lower. Okay, this is not something decided by the child. This is decided by an authority. And this goes into the brain, and this becomes part of the brain's way of thinking, of how to react. So one is, it grows up through its experience. 2, it also has authority. 3, when a small child tries to climb a tree and they cannot climb a tree and fall down, now they think that they are weak. They're not able. When they go to school and they try to learn and they cannot learn, now they think they are stupid. Okay, so it also allows experience to determine themselves. Okay, because everything is based on feeling and everything is based on limited information. Okay, and this is how a human being basically lives their lives. And then they have got all these issues of habits and what we call nature and character and all of this. This becomes their character. Okay, but this is not who they are. When they come to the age of adolescence, which is 12, 13, 14, the ability to reason starts to open. They have been prisoned, thinking that this is all what they can do. But when they come to the age of adolescence, they can start to reason. Hey, actually, this is not right. This was put upon me, but this is not really. Now they have the ability to reason, the ability to understand. They can start looking at the difference between what is fear and what is dangerous. They have the ability to reason. So the first way, this ability to reason, which is their intellectual faculty, is something which, although it is there, if it's not properly developed, it's not going to be of great benefit to us. So what are the 6 ways? The first way which we are trying to tell to the human being is that Okay, you are prevented from seeing the bigger picture of life by your first brain, which is the instinct system, the feeling system, and even though you have the ability to reason, you haven't drawn up this picture. You haven't drawn up what is actually life all about. You have not sat down and thought about all the things and implications. So you need to actually understand the bigger picture of life. What will happen at this time, that time, you need to live, you need to have children, winter is going to come. You need to have the bigger picture of life, which you, using your intellectual faculty, you can understand. So one way which prevents a human being from knowing everything. So we take drugs and we drink and we do all kinds of things, and it's great fun now, but the implications of the future are massive. So because we don't understand all this importance of education and all that, we can't see the bigger picture. But if somebody could see the bigger picture, okay, then they will be able to be more careful. Their life, their behavior, everything will basically also incorporate all of the pain, pleasure of the future, not just the pain, pleasure of now, because we do not want to live in pain now or in the future. So one way is the prevention from seeing the bigger picture of life. Okay. Now, there is a second bigger picture. And the second bigger picture is we are human beings who are psychosomatic. Being psychosomatic, okay, is that we have a mind and we have this body, and the mind operates on very, very fine energy. The body operates on coarse energy, like physical and all that. But thought energy is actually very, very fine thought energy and all that. Okay, and these two energies, okay, thought energy, which is also able to be photographed and all that kind of thing, has a massive influence on the body. Okay, and if, for example, you think right, you think positive, okay, it can have an effect on the body. And at the same time, this universe is created in such a way that no energy can be destroyed or created. All energies need to move around. Okay, it can change form, but it needs to go around because of this universe. When we start to understand that energy in this world is all tied together, every negative action which we do based on either physical or thought energy, it will come back and hit us. And every good action which we do, whether on a thought level or physical level, is going to come and hit us. So everything which we do has a consequence. We may not be caught by the police, but by virtue of this thought energy is going to hit you. So there is a kind of a system, which is a thought energy system, which religions call karma and people call sin and really all these kind of things. But this thought energy is real energy. It's affecting. And today science is explaining how thought energy can create a lot of sicknesses and how a strong body can make the mind strong. So you have all this. Now, because we are veiled, because we don't know, we do not know how to take advantage of this situation. We do not know how to use our mind, our thoughts, to be able to achieve many things. Our thoughts have the capacity to do massive amount of discovery, learning, finding, development, and all that. But we are veiled. We have never learned about our thought energy. And because we have never learned about our thought energy, we do not know. So this is invisible big picture. That how all of the thought energy is affecting each other. So we have an invisible big picture and we have a visible picture. We know we are going to grow old and we have seasons of life and then all. This is what you can see. This is what you cannot see. You need to be able to understand. You need to be able to reason. You need to be able to know. So these are two. One is big picture, visible, big picture, invisible. These are two ways. If these veils were removed and if people were taught to realize, to see, using their intellectual faculty, they would look at life very differently. Okay. Then we have got this aspect of our life called two brains. We have first brain, second brain. First brain operates on feelings. Second brain operates on thoughts. Understanding. Okay. We sit down, we understand the concept, we realize, we know what is right, what is wrong. But for the second brain to know everything, to be able to transfer it to the first brain, which has the ability to do, which is the action brain, which is the knowledge or understanding brain. One is the action brain. You need to convert from the first brain to the second brain Your thought needs to be converted into feelings, because the first brain operates on feelings. So as much as we know many things, we cannot do. We know the roller coaster is only frightening, it's not dangerous, but our brain doesn't have the ability to break free. We still go through all the fears until you actually transform this into a feeling that actually is not. Okay? The same is first time when you go and sing a song. You know, you shouldn't be frightened, but you're still frightened. But when you do it again and again and again and again and again until you break fear, until you break this thing, now this becomes your new nature. Subconsciously, you're not frightened. You don't care about what people think about you and all that. So this is, you cannot walk the talk because there are two brains. Just because you know something doesn't mean you can do this. But many people don't realize this, thinking that just because I know I have the ability to do. Okay. If we knew this thing more clearly, more seriously, then we will sit down and try and see how we will be able to achieve this. So this is talking about two brains. The next thing we're talking about is every human being has two instincts. We have two brains, two instincts. We have big picture visible, big picture invisible, two. We have got two brains, two instincts. All human beings have two instincts, not one instinct. We have our physical instinct, which is the instinct of pain, pleasure, and physical. But we also have a social instinct. We need to depend, we need to be, we need to live in community, we need to be loved, we need to be praised, we need to be accepted, we need to be part. Okay? So we cannot be alone. We need to be accepted in community. So we are social beings. Okay? So when we buy a handphone because it helps us to call, and it also tries to show our status that, wow, you must be somebody smart because you are having a smartphone. Or you must be somebody because you are having this. So we are also trying to create this acceptance. And then when somebody is rejected, we feel so bad and all that. And when we fail and somebody passes, so we are dual instinct human beings. We have a social instinct, and so when we deal with people, everybody wants to be loved, be praised, everybody wants to belong, everybody wants to be appreciated. So we need to learn that if you praise, you appreciate, you empower somebody because you are fulfilling their need. They are hungry of praise. They are hungry for all of this. Just like how your physical instinct, when you're hungry, you need to eat. Somebody, when they are socially hungry, you need to actually empower them, love them, care for them, support them. Okay, they need to feel sense of good. Okay? So if we understand this, then we'll be careful about people's feelings, because this is human nature. We'll be careful of people's feelings, and we will be able to work much better with people because we understand that human beings are dual instincts, not single instincts. And everything in life is, you have all the food in the world, you have everything, all the money, but you don't have love. Your life is empty. You need both. You need to belong, you need to have peaceful and all. So every human being has two instincts, but because we are unaware of this, we're not striving to develop our social instinct to become full and all that. So this is that. Then the next thing which needs to be understood is that our brain is not a logical brain. It's not an ethical brain. Our brain is a logical brain. Our brain is a computer. It's a processor. Our brain goes on goals. If your goal is to survive, the brain is going to teach you how to survive, not whether it's right or wrong, cheap is right or wrong. The brain is a logical brain. If your goal is beautiful, your brain is only going to think about how to make this place beautiful, and it doesn't care too much about whether, these things which you are going to bring down here are stolen or cheated others and all that. You want to make a place beautiful. Your goal is how to make it beautiful. When you want to hate somebody or want to revenge, your brain is just going to think about how to achieve the objective, not how to be someone who needs to consider all aspects of life. So the brain is a logical brain. Somebody who wants to decorate their house for a husband and a wife. Okay? One is thinking about how to make the house as comfortable as possible. Another one is thinking how to save as much money and how to be as cost effective. They're going to sit down and fight because they have different goals. One is trying to make the place beautiful. One is trying to save cost. One is trying to make the place comfortable. One is trying to make the place like a museum to show off to the whole world that, look, my house has got all the expensive rather than the comfortable thing. So every brain is a logical brain. Our brain is not an ethical or not a brain which considers all aspects. So every time we sit down and argue in debates, Everybody is looking at one side, and we really believe it's right. So when we give advice to somebody, okay, and we see something which is wrong, we are very good at giving advice because we are trying to show that this is right or this is wrong. But when we are in the same situation, we are not looking at what is right, what is wrong. We are looking at the pain. We are getting pain. We are going to get angry and we're going to scream because now our brain is focusing on trying to solve the pain. There we're trying to focus on something else. So there is contradiction. So your brain is not an ethical brain. Your brain is a logical brain. Your brain operates on goals, operates on all these different objectives which your brain is trying to work. So we need to learn how to make our brain more holistic. It's not just logical. We need to sit down and consider all the different aspects of life. Now, because human beings are not aware of this, so they are on this level. So this is another way of preventing us from realizing. So we live out our lives screaming, shouting, fighting, believing, having our opinions, not realizing that your opinion is only addressing one aspect, not addressing many aspects. Okay? So this is talking about the. This is talking about this logical aspect of the brain. Then, like what we said, the brain is also living by indoctrinations. What have been indoctrinated, whatever have been mental blocks in our lives, whatever thing. So if parents tell us girl is lower than boy, we accept it. Parents tell us there's a God, we accept it. Okay? There is no logic, no sense, no reasoning. We just accept whatever has been indoctrinated into us blindly. Okay? And this is what we use in our everyday life, in our thinking, in our behavior, in our conclusions. But this is not scientifically tested. Whatever we have basically been indoctrinated that there is a God. Because this has been indoctrinated, not tested whether it's true or not true, all of your behavior is going to be, if there is a implication or connection to God, it's going to affect us. If girls basically believe they are lower than men and this has been indoctrinated, then whether they are going to choose this kind of work or that kind of work, whether they can do this or cannot do that, it's all going to be affected by this so-called view or conclusion of themselves. And this view or this conclusion is unscientific. It was indoctrinated, it was just overridden on us. It's not something which is true, it's not ethical, it's not scientific. And we live out our whole life really thinking that this is right and we base everything on this. Then we have all kinds of problems like revival movements, religions who are fighting and hating and judging each other. My religion is good and your religion is bad and you are like this. All based on this indoctrination, which is a very, very strong feeling.